How about it, Spitfire? Spitfire up there in Pennsylvania. You got your radio on? How about it, Spitfire? Spitfire, Pennsylvania. You copy the Night Ranger? Hello, Dave. Sorry I walked downstairs for just a second, but I came right back. Night Ranger, well, you know where I am. I don't want to say because I'll get too many people stirred up, but you know where I am.
Okay, Night Ranger. We heard you come back to us. You were downstairs and come back. We just wanted to let you know you're making a trip up here to the Keystone State, Roger.
Yeah, I got you too. You're anywhere from about S6 to S8 plus, almost to S9. I've actually been sitting here listening for a few minutes. I heard Pennsylvania coming in up on the sideband channel. At least I actually started in New York and started moving south a little. So I've actually been sitting here, had the radio on probably for about 30 minutes, but I heard a couple of locals key up, so I figured I'd come see if I could wake anybody up there.
Oh yeah, you get the channel up this way. You're the loudest one in there right now. And countywide, Spitfire was in there just a bit ago. I don't know, he might have been outside to go get a cup of coffee or something and take the dogs out, Roger.
Well, hopefully he'll get back in here. I don't know if we'll have conditions tomorrow night when the classic radio, roundup comes around. That'd certainly be great if we do, but I'll take tonight if that's all I can get.
Hey, Roger. Yeah, tomorrow night would be a real good night for it. The way the conditions have been rolling, it's been in there late and then drops off and then comes in later on. You never know what time it comes in there, Roger.
Well, we've had a lot of skip, from Europe here in the mornings, and then California and the Midwest in the afternoon. But just as that started fading out, is usually this time of year. That's usually if I'm going to hear Pennsylvania. That's usually what it is. It's as the California skips fading out. So glad we got conditions. I heard a mobile out there talking. Skip too said he was up in the Keystone. I forgot what he said his numbers were. I actually heard you talking to him earlier, but I could hear that mobile as well. Yeah, that was him. He was coming in pretty good too. Yeah, I heard him talking. Skip, I had the Sandbaggers spew radio feed on the computer downstairs, so I heard him, and then I'd never heard him before, but I heard him coming through the stream. So I walked upstairs to see if I could hear him up here, and sure enough, he was coming in good down here.
Yeah, he runs a pretty good mobile. He runs one of those Dave-made mobiles. That's what he's running in the mobile. Dave-made. He's good, Roger.
I've never had a Dave made. Somebody did bring one over one time. Brought over a 1-drive-and-4 unit. It was, and I got to at least look it over and all that. I don't have much in the mobile though. I've got a little Palomar 350 blue face stamp, just a little 2-transistor in it, but it does good on sideband.
Roger. Right now we don't have nothing in the mobile because our mobile's not working right now. And the wife has her car, and we didn't put none in that yet, Roger.
Yeah, well, mine's just a Toyota Corolla, so it probably can't handle anything more than about 200 watts. I think I'd like to have a Texas Star 500V, but I don't think the alternator in that Toyota could handle that.
Roger. Yeah,
I had a Cobra 148 GTL in the mobile. Matter of fact, I'm talking on a Cobra 148 GTL right now. I got a D104 on it. But in the car, I've got an old 1977 Midland 79-892 40 channel sideband. And it's a junker that I picked up. It wasn't working, but I got it real cheap and I fixed it. Now it works real good.
Hey, Roger, Roger. 23 channel. That's what we got all up here now. We've been working off of. Roger.
You know, I hope Sandbag. I don't know if Sandbagger keeps his radio turned up or not. You know, he may, knowing him, he probably just has that live feed streaming directly into something. I was hoping it'd be nice if he'd come by, but I guess probably won't hear him till tomorrow.
Sandbagger, you don't get in here Wednesday nights because he has other things he keeps. Oh man, nobody can hear me out there. Wednesday nights, but that's about the only time. Now and then on the way home from work we might catch him, but that's about it.
Yeah, Dave, I'm curious. Are you running just a straight radio into that corduroy ground plane, or you got anything extra with it?
We got putting out about 150 watts right now. That's what we're running.
Yeah, it's done real good for you. I'm of course on the Lazy H, and I got the 10 tube DNA Phantom fired up right now, so I'm throwing about 425 at you.
It's one of those DNA Mavericks, and we got it set low. We don't have it high.
Yeah, I've got a Maverick on the other table. I like those. I usually run mine about 250 on high, and I mostly use the DNA Maverick when I'm talking local, because I'm kind of down in the hole next to the river, so it helps me fight my way out of the hole when the skip's running. Well, it's doing a good job. I do have a question for you on the on your Maverick. First, is that the gray Maverick or is that the tan one? And second, mine kind of muffles up on low side. If I'm on high side, it sounds real good, but if I hit low, it's kind of muffled. Does yours do that?
No, does it sound okay? They say it sounds good, Roger.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm talking about mine. Mine on low side, mine muffles up, but on high side, it sounds clear. I was just curious if yours does the same thing. Is it clear on low too? Yours is. Let me rephrase that. Is yours clear on the low side too?
Am I still making it on the low side?
Yeah, you sound real good.
Clear?
Yeah, you still made it on low.
Is it clear on the march?
Yeah, it sounds good. Maybe I'll just have to play with mine some more. Somebody had been in there, so that's a possibility.
Spitfire was just in there keying up, so we're going to take a standby. Catch you later, Night Ranger. We're going to be listening until you get back at Spitfire. We're on the side.
Okay, Dave. 73s. What's going on up there, Spitfire?
Sounding good up here tonight. Hey man, I got the gate going too. But hey, yeah, you're doing good. Nice to have the East skip season open. I was expecting you to come on in here when I started here in the Carolinas. Night Ranger, your turn. 441.
Yeah, 441. You sound good. You're S7 modulating S9. I got the Videogate going too, and I'm on a brand new Cobra 148 GTL. And a D104, and it is brand new. And this thing, brand new out of the box, straight from the factory, was a half KC off frequency. Cobra ought to be ashamed of themselves. I had to get in there and line the PLL, or the offsets off, actually. But the transmit was a half KC off right out of the box. But other than that, it lined everything else was fine on it.
Right on off frequency. That's ridiculous. There's really no excuse for that, especially with a PLL. Cobra 142 GTL. Picked this one up a few years ago. How about that station with 148? You got to really get near that. I like this one. It's got good kick butt audio and everything. And, yeah,
Yeah, okay, so I had more than one coming in there with you. Spitfire. Yeah, well, this is, you know, I like the radio. I do. It's a good radio. I just was ticked off. It was a little, you know, half Casey off. And that's actually the second brand new 148 GTL of the new, you know, reissues that I've seen. Those all frequency brand new. Oh, well. But anyway, I got the 10-tube Phantom cooked up with it. I had that, you talking about the 142 GTL, I had the realistic TRC 490 for a while, which I think is the same board. And one of the local pawn shops up in my hometown actually has a 142 GTL. They want like $100 for it. Somebody's added the variable key. Anyway, let me acknowledge the other station. There was one other station here that put me in the red. Who's that other station up there in Pennsylvania?
Sandman up in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Who we got down there?
Yeah, Sandman, you're a good S9 or better. This is Night Ranger around Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, okay, Night Ranger. Yeah, I heard you talking. That 148, did you have to do it in the modulation, or is that all stock, and that's all that it gets right there?
This is completely stock. All I did was put the transmit frequency back on, and I went in there and checked the upper and lower, you know, and AM, the offset adjustments to make sure they were on, and I had to touch one of them. But I didn't bother to peak it out or anything like that. I raised the sideband output from 10 watts to 12 watts, but AM wise I didn't touch it at all.
Okay, I have one of those too, with the radio to 148. I had to have it redone like 3 times in the past like 5 years, but I keep drifting around. You know, it goes off, got it set again, and it goes off again, a couple KCs, but overall the radio's fun. It's a good radio, that little old 148. But okay, I just wanted to get back and check in there. The DNA Phantom, they only do 400 something, huh?
Well, you can run them up there about 500, but it muffles up. I found after 425 on AM, it muffles up. But that's where I'm running it. Right now I'm sitting right on 400 watt dead key, and on sideband they'll get up there about 800 plus, and that's on an average meter.
Okay, yeah, that sounds really nice though. Nice and good.
Alright, Sandman, sounding real good. 73's up there. Alright, back over to you, Spitfire. Alright, Spitfire, I'll pick it up with you later. And I got the Videogate going. I'll upload it tonight. And you'll be able to see you coming in, and Dave's in there too, and of course Sandman's coming in. I'll post a link over on the Grumpy CV board. Talk to you later, Spitfire. Night Ranger, back on the side.
Alright there, Night Ranger, man, I had you really good, 100% in the clear. I guess maybe we'll see you here tomorrow night and watching Radio Roundup. That'd be kind of fun. It's been a while since you've been in there. Alright, take care, my friend. We'll catch you in after a while. 116-441.
Okay, I'll try to be in here. I'll be in here anyway. You know, if there's conditions, I'll get back to you. But I'll definitely come in here and see if there's any conditions. If we got any skip it all around 20th, I'll try. Night Ranger, South Carolina, back on the side.
Evening, Night Ranger. Sparky waving.
Hey, Sparky, you're coming in good. About S9, got you on the Videogate.
Good deal, good deal. Yeah, you're sounding mighty fine running this old Cobra 150 GTL. I guess it's from around 2000 or something.
Yeah, I remember that. They had that one and they had the 200. One of my friends bought the 200 when it first came out.
Yeah, another operator, Ron over here, he runs a 200 in his mobile. Just had this one sitting up on the base, came in, turned it on, and there you were.
Yeah, I want to get my Cobra Cam 88 working right for the classic radio roundup, and it works until I cut the amp on, and there's some type of voltage loop between that radio and the amps, and as soon as I cut it on, the modulation goes through the floor, and it's not the amp, it's the radio. If I can figure out what's causing that voltage loop and get rid of it, I want to get that Cam 88 in here, because it sure sounds smooth.
Hey, can I get an audio? Yeah, I got a Royce, what is it, it's a sideband Royce, 242 or so, I forget the number, 642 or something. It works fine, and then you hook it on an amp, and it goes crazy, so I'll put it on there. I wonder if it's got spurs, but man, you're coming in loud. I'm drunk.
Yeah, well, this is as I said, Cobra 148 GTL, reissued D104. It's not peaked out or anything. and a 10-tube DNA phantom into the Lazy H.
Copy that, man. Yep, giving me 9 over, no problem. Evening, Spitfire.
Evening there, Sparky. Yes, so my battery died on my Videogate, so we only got what we got there earlier, Night Ranger, so I'll upload what I got and refresh my batteries.
Well, what I usually do, well, not right now, but what I do a lot of times is I just keep it plugged up to the wall on my camera. If I do that, I can get like 12 to 14 hours because I got a 16 gig SD card in there. When I'm on the battery, though, I only get about an hour. I think this one will take a 32 gig, but I left it running one day at 720p. I took off to work and left it running. When I came home, it was still going and it still hadn't run out of memory. So not much use going to 32 gig. Alright, catch up with you later. Night Ranger, South Carolina.
Hey, he's coming in like a neighbor. Very neighborly. Alright, Spitfire, catch you a little later. I'm on the side here, just warming up the shack a little. Triple A, 6 Rider, right on night, bye-bye.
He's on the top side, top side.
That's right, I'm a pitcher, not a catcher.
Evening again, Wonder Boy. Evening again, Spitfire and Sparky.
Did a touch and go. Back to work.
Roger, Roger, and on your way back to work. Okay.
Hey, Wonder Boy, 44, Sparky waving. 44? Wait a second. Sparky, what are your numbers? 775. 775. And you were saying hi to 44. I get it.
Oh, no.
Yep, them are my old CB license numbers, the last 3.
Pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I just walked in here after dinner, and then I heard Spitfire, Night Ranger, clean as day.
307, 300. Made a brownstorm too for a good while before county line got in there.
Shut way down. Your FJ shut way down. Yeah. This radio's not as loud as the 200. I think that one's got an amp in it. This is just dual final radio.
Yeah, they said the early 200s had problems with them. They finally got it straightened out.
I was just reading up on this one tonight, the 150 GTL, and lo and behold, there was a guy selling 2 new ones. The CB shop said he found them. I guess he just never sold them. He wanted $250, which is too much, obviously.
Probably I'd run for the morning, afternoon, or what? I'm satisfied with that.
Hey, same here, 44. It's a great sounding radio. I'm very pleased with it.
Well,
1, 2. Don't do a whole lot, this radio. It's one of them radios that sounds better on low power.
There you go. There's a lot of them that do that have high power. A lot of them sound better on low.
Yep, that's all this has. High and low power switch. Of the day. I was in Center City, and then I gave a couple shouts out from the expressway. And then once I got up here, I thought I heard you in there. I was shouting out a couple times, I don't know, around 3 o'clock, and then I went in the beer distributor. I might have lost you.
I might have been in there around 3 o'clock, because that's about when I leaves for work, and I usually turn it up. And of course, you can get hammered by day. That's amazing, ain't it?
That's pretty cool. That is the start of the E-skip season, and then we got enough sunspots for us there during the day.
I haven't heard our friend out in Indiana. What's his handle out there?
Fixer, 480.
Yes, Fixer. Have not heard him in there lately.
I can usually hear him when he comes in. A lot of times when Fixer's calling for you, even if you guys can't hear him, a lot of times I can still hear him down here in the Carolinas.
Copy that there, Night Ranger. Yeah, get a little relay going. Although I haven't heard Indiana in here much lately. But even when I didn't hear him coming in.
Well, usually what happens down here is the skip will start coming in up from where you are, and then it'll move over towards his direction. At least that's the way it does down here.
Your direction up here.
Yeah, but it just depends on which side you're on.
That's the way it goes. One direction is different from the other direction, but it's all the same in the end.
Well, from the South Carolina perspective, usually we hear New York or Maine or Canada first. Then it moves down a little bit to your direction. And then it moves over toward the Great Lakes, and then it usually finishes out by going over towards Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, that area, and then it drops out.
We got good conditions, Night Ranger. Hey, I have my little Cobra road trip walkie-talkie out, Night Ranger, and the telescopic little antenna all the way down, and I'm in my shack, and I still hear you through that.
Well, that's definitely good conditions. You're holding pretty solid up here. You're about S9. And I've got 25 minutes so far on the Videogate. I don't know if my YouTube channel let me upload a video that long, but I got 25 minutes going so far.
Good deal, good deal. Yeah, I switched over to the Soup Sidekick. Well, guys out there,
I don't have any of the. I don't have the Sidekick. I've never owned that one. I have two Turner Plus 3s, the gray ones. And a friend lent me an Expander 500 one time. I didn't really like the Expander too much, but the Turner Plus 3s are nice. I had to repaint them. The ones I had were ugly. Somebody had painted them like with a great big fat brush like you paint a house with, and it had all these brush strokes all over it, and it was ugly. So I went and got some hammer tone paint and spray painted it. Covered up all the letters. It looks much better now.
Hey, at least it was working. Was the element nice and clean? Wasn't all dented up?
It wasn't dented or anything. It had maybe a few little scratches on the grill, but you know, it worked. Both of them worked good. They were just butt ugly. They look good now though. They just needed paint.
Yeah, I just got two mics in off the bay. One a +2 and the other a CS1 Turner. And both of them, the elements were fragged, man. It looked like they dropped them 18 times.
Well, you know, sometimes you can tell what you're getting, and sometimes you can't. When I bought these off eBay, you know, the guy took the shot from the front, so you couldn't tell that somebody'd gone over it with a big fat paintbrush, you know, and screwed it up on the back. But anyway, now that I've painted it, it looks much better.
That's right, you gotta stay away from them spray
Yeah, I've had to repaint the bases on my D104s because a couple of them, they were a little chipped up. But those actually turn out pretty well. You can use that gray hammer tone spray paint, and as long as you cover all the silver up and the cord up and everything, they actually come out pretty nice. I just started hearing the Great Lakes come in, so it may be shifting.
Yeah, how about out there? I heard somebody complain about somebody spray painting the Golden Eagle. I don't know.
I've had pretty good luck on the D104s. I only had one of them come in that had the real tinny element, and I fixed that. And one of them came in was tinny, but the element was good. It was the electrolytic capacitor and the little preamp board in the bottom that was dried out. Once I replaced that capacitor, it was fine.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Another thing you want to look for is sometimes the element acts like it's bad, but it's not. And what actually happens is the foam inside turns to crud, and then the cartridge leans up against the back metal casing, and the two metal tabs touch it and short out, and you think you got a bad element, but it's just that foam is turned to goo, and the little tabs are shorting out against the metal case.
You hear me? I'm still on a quest for another good +2. I got a couple of bodies, but that element's hard to find.
I'm back on the ground, guys.
I've never had a +2, but they always sounded good.
That was powder coated, this deep blue metallic. It was so metallic it just glistened. They had it powder coated and it was beautiful, but the element was shot. So that's the one I'm looking for, the element. Just an incredible deep metallic powder coat on that +2.
Oh, good.
Hold on just a second. Does the +2 and the +3 not use the same element, or is that they different elements?
Nah, they're different.
I always thought they sounded about the same.
Nah, the one on the +2s is more like a D104 sized element, big aluminum thing.
Oh, okay. I've never looked inside any of the turners. Fortunately, hadn't had to. So.
I gotta look inside one or two. They're loose. The heads are loose, and you gotta peel that little sticker off the back to get at the screw.
I figured that when the heads on one of mine wobbles a little, and I figure, I saw that sticker, and I guessed it. I guessed there was probably a screw behind it, but I didn't know for sure. Is somebody out there fussing about that?
Mason-Dixon line, they paint them all.
Is somebody fussing about that?
Last time we went on vacation, and it was somebody down in Jersey.
conditions may be changing. I'm starting to hear some more states, and like I said, I'm starting to hear the Great Lakes. So usually when that happens, it ain't long before it switches over in that direction and you guys drop out. So maybe I'll catch you here tomorrow night. Night Ranger around South Carolina. I've got a fan. I heard somebody out there. Didn't hear where you were, but I did hear you call. Night Ranger, back to you.
Yeah, Night Ranger at 53. We're here in North Connecticut. How are you?
53 sounding good out of Connecticut. You're about S5 to S7 down here around South Carolina, located near Charleston.
How about it,
Sorry, I didn't catch all that. There was some other signals in there. But anyway, have a good evening up there. I'm going to stop this Videogate going. See if YouTube will accept a 30-minute Videogate. Have a good evening. Thanks for the comeback. Night Ranger, South Carolina. If the skip's running, I'll be in here tomorrow night, starting around 6:30, 7:30. 73.
We have good numbers to you. Sounding good in Connecticut. We're standby.
How about it down there in North Carolina? 8291 up here in the Watergate. That's right.
Yeah, 291 up there around DC or S9 in Charleston, South Carolina.
Hey, right on top of the evening to you there. Sounding good coming up here through the Watergate. Hey, top of the week to you, schoolboy. Nation's capital. Catch you later. We clear it down.
All right, schoolboy 73s. Have a good evening up there. Night Ranger, South Carolina, gone.